More secrets revealed and new news regarding City Skylines 2. Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to our first impressions, first looks, and reactions to the latest dev diary from the team over at Colossal Order, the folks making City Skylines 2. Today they're talking about a few more things that we haven't yet heard about relating to mass transit, like buses and taxis and whatnot, and I wanted to throw in my opinion and, of course, chat with you down below in the comment section on what you thought about this and or, of course, your excitement for City Skylines 2, or maybe not. But I must say, the more and more I see of this game, just the more and more I want to play it and get my hands on it for myself to feel what's there compared to City Skylines 1, and to also feel what might not be there for City Skylines 1. Now, of course, the basic parts of this being a mass transit simulator with both roads and buses, trains and trams is here, and of course these folks many years ago made the game known as Cities in Motion and Cities in Motion 2, which paved the way, pun intended, for City Skylines. Now, what I'm seeing here for all of their plans for mass transit and setting up routes seems to be very similar to what it is in City Skylines 1. And to be fair, I don't think there's really a need to change a lot of what already works from the original game. And I know a lot of you have said that when it comes to buses, it's kind of tedious to set up all those individual stops, but it does look at least that they've made more improvements to it to make it easier to have multiple buses go to kind of the same location to make it faster to do. Honestly, building a bus line and then expanding it after you build a city can be tedious. You build and then expand after putting down your bus lines and then doing it again. But of course, they went into more detail about how things will be done for upgrading those buildings, which is pretty cool. For example, building a bus depot and then adding onto it to allow for even more buses, which is something that I absolutely 110% wanted from SimCity from 2013, and love to see it here in City Skylines 2. Now, they've also confirmed something that I really was happy with. At very briefly, a very short moment in this video, they showcase a section where you can upgrade and spend development points. If you look down on the lower left corner of the screen, you'll see where it says Megaopolis or Big City or whatnot, and some points will be down there too. And it looks like based on the size of your city, you'll generate development points where you can then invest and unlock certain things in your city. Now, that's quite cool because, of course, if you have no intention at all of building an airport, let's say, in your city, then you won't invest in that. And that's what you're seeing here is the option to be able to invest those development points into many different things. And, of course, that unlocks airports or larger airports, that type of thing. So kind of cool that we have a little bit of option to customize when things will unlock for ourselves. And that might also apply to other things like upgrades for fire departments, police departments, or power. So there's a lot of good things here, but there's a lot of things that I'm questioning about. Yeah, so we still have the milestone system, which I'm not too disappointed about. I like that quite a lot, and it gives us goals to work towards. But I am hoping for different game modes where we can have those by default without mods disabled, where we can have the entire map unlocked. Of course, we could probably have the day one unlimited money, hard mode, ultra hard mode, maybe less starting cash. Options to make the game different at each starting section would be fun. Having an unlimited size map, or at least an unrestricted map to the game's maximum size, with also a little bit of money, might change the map that you played 4 or 5 times before with being able to tweak that. But going back to what they're mentioning about mass transit, of course, they're confirming more things of it being easier to use, like how it is in Transport Fever 2, and of course, making lines just seems to be about as easy. Alright, well, let me know your thoughts so far. We're going to hear the developers' take on a few of these things, and then I'm going to share some of my afterthoughts after hearing all of their input on what's to come for City Skylines 2. Here we go.
Public and cargo transportation are as important in City Skylines 2 as they were in City Skylines 1. First, you create the depots. Then, you set up the stations or the stops. And then, you create the lines with the line tool. All of the land-based public and cargo transportation types need depots to function. The depots send out the vehicles, and they also have upgrades that improve their functionality.
You can upgrade your bus depot to service electric buses.
Increased capacity for rail yards and dispatch center for taxi depot. Also, many of the different transportation modes can be connected by you to the outside connections to create the lines that you want.
You can now make your own intercity bus lines. The trams are included in the base game.
Cargo ships can carry a lot of cargo. They are slow, they completely skip traffic jams, but once they get to harbor and unload their cargo, they can cause a lot of traffic as the trucks pick up the cargo and transport it all over the city.
In cities too, you can draw cargo lines between stops and outside connections. You are able to adjust the number of vehicles as well as the operating hours.
With the buses, you can create intricate lines that skip traffic jams and busy intersections. They no longer need to go directly from stop to stop.
Citizens care about cost. You can adjust the ticket price per line. If you make the cost too high, they might not ride your public transportation.
Buses and taxis are unlocked with milestone progression, but every other transportation type you can unlock by using the development points.
The new international airport is huge. It's the size of a small town. Oh!
That was great. That was great. You got all the words down?
Yes, but I was so sad. It's the size of a small town. I can't, I'm so nervous. So they will see it. They will see through me.
The game also features a line overview panel where you can inspect all your public and cargo lines. You can also access each line through the panel.
The transportation info view panel has become much more detailed.
The transportation info view lists all the different lines in your city categorized by public and cargo transportation. It also includes information about how many passengers there has been, and it also includes information about the amount of cargo transported per type per month.
Well, being honest here, I think the only thing that I've seen so far that I haven't really liked about City Skylines at this point is just buses and roads connecting to the edge of the map with no real connection to the world. A little jarring for seeing a road coming to the end of its line and just ending, and that's it. But other than that, and I'm sure there's a reason for that or something we need to learn a little bit more by having the game in our own hands, there's a lot of excitement here and a lot of cool things to make these pathways easier, including the pathway to development, a different type of roadway. Yeah, the whole development system of being able to unlock things by growing your city is very cool, but I'm very, very hopeful that the developers will make it so that way educational systems, such as building a big university, will then allow you to reap the benefits of having a very good educational system to then unlock things like advanced power plants or better hospitals or schools or different types of infrastructure like roads that might be locked behind research like a suspension bridge or something like that. It'd be interesting to see that as a part of a game mode as well, or upgrades for the buildings. Going back to what I was mentioning about City Skylines in the original game, it didn't have the upgrades and the nodes and things that you could add later on that SimCity 2013 did. And that was one of the cool things that SimCity 2013 did that I love seeing here in City Skylines, is the ability to unlock things through progression other than what we've seen before with it being tied to population, possibly, and also the ability to basically make our buildings have nodes, additional upgrades to them, and building them piece by piece. Now, I think SimCity 2013, with you building a university and then being able to research an advanced solar power plant or wind power plant or a hospital or a legal center or like an advanced police station was really cool. And I hope to see that here in this game, where systems outside of just generating money and tax dollars to build a city go towards something else, like a space program. Now later in these development vlogs, they're going to talk about special buildings, signature buildings, monuments, other things that are going to be maybe end game, or things that might take certain requirements to unlock that are very specific, like an X number of people at a certain education level within the city, earning X number of money. I don't know. Whatever it may be, it's going to be a little bit more specific. And so I hope not only do we all want to build a city of 1 million population and see how big we can make our cities and test the game in terms of its frame rate, its size, and see some day one mods, but also what will the original gameplay be like. And as I mentioned earlier, that could be certainly refreshing if we get to choose where we start on the map, or how big the map is at the very beginning, like how many tiles are unlocked, or if all tiles are unlocked, and give ourselves different amounts of money, and perhaps give our people different requirements. Maybe we can give our people, we can set the age of the entire region, so that way perhaps more elderly people will want to move to this town, and then you must cater to those needs at the start, and then eventually attract younger people, or something like that. But there's a lot of different ways this game can go, but just showcasing that whole development path in something where they wanted to talk about buses and trains and planes today, but I can't tell you how big that is to see that we're not only able to confirm the original milestones tied to the population, but also that it could be tied to something else, like perhaps buying licenses or rights to build certain buildings that might be owned by the federal government if we're building a city. Things like, for example, what SimCity 4 did with building like a national prison or a missile silo, those types of things. Federal projects that you could put in the city that were negative but would give you money, that kind of thing. And it'd be cool to see that here too. I don't know. But anyway, I like what I see so far, and I'd like to hear from you down below in the comment section on what you like, what you love, and I want to see you all subscribe today to the channel. Make sure you hit that like button, and thank you very much for watching. Have a good one.